am here painting this piece. I'm with Art with Heart and Healthcare. You should have had an artist stop by with the supplies. That you'll have one brush, plate of paint with a mixing tray, a cup of water, some paper towels, and we're just using these colors red, yellow, blue, brown, and white. So when we get to doing the orange part, I gave you guys the primary colors. So when we get to the pumpkin, spoiler alert, red and yellow makes orange, just in case you need a little refresher. It's been a while since you've been in art class. But yes, these are the colors that we'll use. Whenever you are getting ready to clean your brush, make sure that we're just gonna pretend, use our imagination. I'm gonna pretend I have paint on my brush, and I'm gonna paint the bottom of the cup. And you're gonna put some pressure on that brush, paint back and forth. Once you think you got all that color up, take it out of the water. 2 fingers, squeeze all that water back into your cup. That way you don't soak your paper towels. And then if you see that color that you last on your paper towel, you know to redo those same steps again until it's completely clean. And when we start, you do not have to wet your brush because this paint already has water in it. So we could just get the party started without putting the brush in the water cup. So here is the piece, A Day at the Pumpkin Patch. Let me remove this off the clips. That way I have a nice clean surface. And we will be doing. So typically this would be portrait style orientation, and this is landscape orientation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheet of paper and I'm going to turn it around to the horizontal landscape orientation. So make sure before you start that you have the paper like this, landscape. If you wanted to do portrait, I guess you could, but for this piece, I'm having it landscape orientation. So, with that being said, I think it's about that time to get started. If you by some chance start the painting and you get a little too tired or you get interrupted with visitors or have to go somewhere, this will automatically be uploaded to our Facebook page and YouTube. I guess just check Art with the Heart's social media for the video and keep those QR code sheets just in case. Um, that way you're able to follow along another day or later in the day. All right, so what I'm going to do first is the background. So that is going to be the sky and the grass. So I'm going to use, you should just have one brush. I'm painting on a bigger surface, so I needed a much bigger brush than I gave you guys. So we're going to take this brush, and you can either do two things. One is double dip with the blue and the white, or you could use your mixing tray and mix white and blue together. I would just recommend if you do that, that when you're mixing the two colors together, they're in small areas. The more you spread out the mixture, the faster that mixture will dry, especially on these styrofoam plates. So I'm going to double dip. So I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to grab just a little bit of blue and a lot of white. I want more white than blue. And if you feel like it's too dark when you apply it to your paper, just go over it with white and you should be okay. So I'm gonna give myself a little parameter because I don't want to fill in the whole sheet of paper because that would take way too long. So I'm gonna give myself, you guys are more than welcome to fill up your whole paper. And you should have a couple of sheets if you want to keep your tables or surfaces clean. You could just put that piece of paper and move it along the edges whenever you get to painting a certain area to keep your table clean. But this is washable paint. It's okay if you get on the table. So I'm only gonna do half the sheet, the sky. So I'm gonna close it up right here. And I'm gonna paint in this whole area of my sky. So it could be, and you can have areas where there's more blue than white, more white than blue. It's totally up to you. Just take your time and just have fun with it. the best part about art. Just have fun. And we want to make sure when we're applying these colors to the paper that the paint is nice and smooth. That way it dries faster. So make sure it's not too globby. Just kind of go in that area again to smooth it out. When I got here today, I was kind of thinking like, man, I probably should have done this one before the last one because it was a little bit closer to the end of Halloween having to do with pumpkins and everything. But I realized the pumpkins could be October and November. Maybe you're pushing it a little too far if it's in December. I mean, I guess you could have pumpkin pie in December and other pumpkin items like pumpkin spice and whatnot. But definitely, I probably won't be making any jack-o'-lantern jokes. Been trying to find more like Thanksgiving kind of pumpkin jokes because that's the next holiday. So I have one. What did the pumpkin say to the pumpkin carver? The pumpkin said, "Cut it out." So that's the one.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing when you're going.
There's another joke. This might be a little, I don't know, for you guys who play sports out there. What do you call a pumpkin that plays sports or is an athlete? A jock a lantern. That's another one that I saw the other day. Pretty cool joke. I'm gonna wet my brush a little bit because this paper wants to fight me. I'm gonna wet the area a little bit. I probably wouldn't recommend it for you guys because this is a different paper. This is like a much heavier paper, so I'm just using a little bit of water. That way, it helps me kind of move a little bit faster. I guess if you are having a hard time um, getting the paint covered on your piece of paper, you could wet your brush just a little bit though, not too much, because you don't want to see the paper show behind the painting. Want to make sure backgrounds we cover all of the surface. It's looking nice. I typically, whenever I do landscapes, I typically make the bottom of the sky a little bit lighter. So I typically use more white down at the bottom, and as it goes up towards the top of the sky, it tends to get a little darker. So it's up to you. If you want to do that with your sky, you could. That's just what I usually do. So I usually use a lot more white at the bottom than blue. So more white than blue at the bottom. If that's something you want to do to your painting, just takes practice. As an artist, you learn new tricks and techniques. I've been painting for at least 20 plus years. Um, and this is all I do every single day, Monday through Sunday. I paint, I draw, I try to do something art related. That way you don't lose everything that you learned the day before or days before. So I definitely recommend if you're really into art, just doing it every day. It's just like sports, learning a new instrument. The more you do something, the better you get at it. So I'm almost finished covering my area for the sky. And then we will clean our paintbrush whenever you finish your sky. Water up there. There you go. Water is definitely helping a lot more. I'm gonna add a little bit more dark blue up there. Just gonna use the side of my brush. That way I make sure to stay in the lines. Alright, I think that should be good. The main focus are the pumpkins. We're just doing the background to get rid of all that surface, that white surface. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my brush. Remember, being the bottom of the cup, put some pressure on that brush. paint back and forth. That way you're pushing out some of that paint that wants to hide in the bristles. 2 fingers, squeeze all that water out, and then paint your paper towel. That way you can see that color that was last. You know to redo the same steps again, so it's completely clean. All right, so as you can see, we do not have green on our palette, so we will have to mix it. And the 2 colors that you will be using to make green is yellow and blue. And I'm probably going to be using a lot more yellow than blue because I really want a nice kind of lime green. So I'm going to take my brush once it's clean. I'm going to use my mixing tray. I'm going to take a scoop of yellow, scoop, and then a little bit of blue. I grabbed more yellow than blue. And this could be any shade of green. If you want to put white into your green, you could do that too. You'll get more of like a pistachio green. Just depends on what kind of green you want. The more blue you use, the darker the green. The more yellow you use, the lighter the green. And I'm going for a more lighter green because I'm going to be adding a dark green shadow underneath the pumpkins. So I would definitely make enough of it. And like I said, don't spread out the mixture too much because then it'll dry faster. Try to stay in a small area. And once I got that green all mixed up, I'm going to do the bottom half. So I'm going to make my little border. I'm going to close it up. I make sure because I get a little ahead of myself sometimes. I'm going to close that up as well. And now I'm going to paint in that whole area with a green. And just like the sky, if you feel like you're like, it's a little too dark of a green, just take more yellow and go right on top. There's no mistakes in art. As Bob Ross always said, there's only happy accidents. No mistakes. And this is your painting as well. And out there, I'm pretty sure not all pumpkin patches look the same. So if you do have maybe a different shade of grass, that's totally okay. I've been to a couple of pumpkin patches where there's no grass. It's like hay instead of grass. So I want to do grass. That way there's more color. Yeah, I did that pretty quick. More yellow. It's a really nice lime green. The only reason why I said too that if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of white to your green once it's mixed, is because sometimes a little bit of white helps make certain colors stronger. So that's only why I really suggested putting a little bit of white in the mixture if you wanted to, because it'll make it stronger, just a little bit stronger. Because sometimes certain paints aren't made that strong, so it just needs a little pick-me up. Okay, I think that'll do it for the grass. All right, we'll give you guys some time to get to the place of finishing your grass before I move on. Because now, after the sky and the grass, we do all the details. So that will be the pumpkins, the fence. So I'll give you guys some time to finish up your sky and your grass. And I realized it went a little too high on that side of the grass. So once you do finish your grass, you're gonna clean off your brush.
It's looking great, Dylan.
Thank you. Thank you. Got the sky in there, the grass.
It's like the golf course you did the other day.
It does. Very true. Yeah, I really enjoy. I mean, this is fun too. I really painting indoors, but I really enjoy painting outside too. Painting outside is a lot more fun. Fresh air, but yeah, that's it. Well, we're still doing good on time. Perfect. So I wanted to make sure I gave you guys lots of time to work on your pumpkins. That's kind of why I rushed this part. Pumpkins and the fence, but the fence isn't too bad. All right, I think that's pretty clean. My water kind of looks like Shrek water. It's like a Shrek green. Let's see. Squeeze all that water out. Paint my paper towel. All right, nice and clean. Perfect. And that way, it also gives my surface some time to dry. A little tap test. And it's up to you if you want to put your pumpkins above the grass versus putting your pumpkins in the grass. It's totally okay, whichever one you choose. I only did 3 pumpkins. So if you want to just do like one great pumpkin, you could do that. You can do multiple pumpkins, like a really crowded pumpkin patch. I don't know why I say pouch patch. But I just did 3. So it's up to you. You could do 1, 3, or more. And like I said, if you want to put them on top of the grass, you can. And you can have the fence in the grass. There's lots of different ways you could do this piece. But I'm going to try to make it look exactly like the one up here. The example. All right, I think that's pretty clean. This paint does dry very, very quick if you get it nice and smooth and there's no globs. So I'm going to use my brush. I'm going to use the brush that everyone has now. I just used the much bigger one because I have a bigger sheet. So I'm going to use the brush that everyone should have. You should have, it's either a rounded brush or a square brush, but they're both the same sizes. So this one's a little loose. That should be a problem. Okay, so whenever you are ready for your pumpkins, which we'll be doing next, we're gonna put the fence behind the pumpkins. So I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna use a mixing tray, and I'm gonna grab yellow, lots of yellow. I would do lots of yellow, and then a little bit of red. So more, I would say more yellow than red, just to be on the safe side. That way you get a nice orange. And I might actually put just a tiny bit of white in this mixture as well to make it a little bit stronger. Just a little tiny bit. And once I got that color, I'm just gonna make these 3 kind of ovalish pumpkins. So I'm gonna put one in the middle, and you can do like a medium sized one, a small one, a tall one. That's what I'm gonna be doing. So all pumpkins come in different shapes and sizes, and not all pumpkins look the same. So that's a stress-free thing to think about. Is all pumpkins look different. So I'm gonna start mine.
I'm gonna go up and bring this out last iPad. I totally forgot about this.
Perfect. No worries.
You don't know which floor I need to go to, do you?
5, I think,
Thank you, bud. I'll be
or
right.
6. It's either 5 or 6.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Welcome. It's my technical artist to help me out with all the technology aspects. I'm not great with that. Okay, so I'm gonna start my pumpkin in the sky, and I'm going to make a C. All right, so I made a C. Oh, didn't make enough. That's okay. And then I'll make another C to kind of close it up. And then I'll fill it in. So a C and a backwards C. That's typically what I do whenever I make pumpkins. Very good. And if you can kind of see some of the background show, that'll happen. Um, so you might have to do like another layer whenever the first layer dries. If you don't want to see the background show in the pumpkin. Take your time. Can't rush. Grab a little bit more whites. Yeah, paint dry. Oof, that's a little too light. Yeah, paint dries very quick on these styrofoam plates, so you might have to mix a couple of times. Boom. Perfect. And I might go in there with another layer of something. Definitely gotta put the details in the pumpkin, so it's totally okay. If you can see some of the pumpkin the background show. We're gonna go back into these pumpkins afterwards. Okay, so I got my first one, and then I'm gonna make another one. See, I might make this one a little bit lighter than this one. That way I can really see the difference between the two pumpkins. So I'm gonna add a little bit more white to my mixture. That way it's like a more sherbet, kind of really pastel orange color. And I'm gonna put this one behind. So I'm gonna make a C. And I'm gonna fill it in. C and fill it in. And I want this pumpkin to be behind the first one I just did. And if you want to make like smaller pumpkins, there's like two ways you could do it. There's one, use kind of like your finger and just kind of press down and kind of stamp your finger to make like smaller ones. If anyone's doing like a pumpkin patch with like multiple pumpkins and they want some really small ones, that one, or just kind of taking the brush and pressing down just one time. Either or works. Okay. So the first layer of that one. We just cover that in a little bit more. We got plenty of time. Plenty of time. No rush. A little bit more orange. More white. There we go. There's that sherbet. Sometimes you gotta use a lot of more paint to not see the background show. Sometimes I would take a pencil and draw out the pumpkins first and then paint around them with the background colors, but I didn't want to give you guys too much work drawing and painting. So, want to make your lives a little bit easier today. Okay, got that pumpkin. And then I'm going to make a bigger one. And it's a taller one too. So I'm going to make more orange. I might make this one a darker orange, to be honest. Much darker one. Yeah, I'm gonna make a darker orange, so that'll be more red than yellow. And I'm gonna make this one go a little bit higher. So I'm gonna start over here. I'm gonna go up, then kind of make a frowny face. Frowny face. Not a sad pumpkin. It's just a technique. And then I'm gonna kind of curve it around, make a smiley face. Kind of looks like an ear or a backward C. And then I'll fill it in. So this is like a much taller pumpkin. all different shapes out there of pumpkins. Used to love going to the pumpkin patch. I went to a pumpkin patch in a very, very long time. But I wasn't like really big into like carving pumpkins. I was one of those who just painted on top of them. Just to make life a little bit easier. So I feel like the tools they give you at some stores aren't strong enough to like actually carve the pumpkins. So that's how I feel about the gingerbread man sets. Sometimes the graham cracker or whatever they give you isn't strong enough. Got 3 pumpkins. Give you guys some time to catch up. A little lopsided on this side. It's because I of the canvas. Okay. I mean, like I said earlier, all different shapes and sizes out there. They're not all perfect. That's okay. I will touching it. Don't touch it. Okay. It's not bad. Pretty happy with myself on that. It's good, good, good. You guys a couple more minutes to work on that part. And we're gonna go back after you finish your pumpkins with the details. And I'll probably keep a kind of dark orange mixture for these 2 pumpkins right here when I like put the details in it. So I'm gonna use a dark orange for this one and a little bit a darker orange for this one as well. So I'll show you on this one for those who are ready. So I'm gonna not clean my brush. I'm gonna use that dark orange. And I'm just gonna go onto the top of the pumpkin and make a frowny face. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm just making a smiley face on the top middle and a frowny face. Or no, yeah, that was a frowny face, and then a happy face on the bottom. You should have a frowny face and a happy face. And one's in the center at the top, and one's on the center on the bottom. And I sometimes wet the brush a little bit. That way it extends the paint a little bit more. Because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of outline the outside of the pumpkin with this dark orange color. So wetting the brush just a tiny bit kind of helps outlining things. Then I'm going to outline the other side.
I take it very seriously too.
Then I'm gonna add a curve right here and a curve right here. So you know where the frowny face part ends, you're gonna leave a little bit of space, and then you're gonna make a parenthesis or a C kind of curve going one direction, and the other one's going opposite direction. I mean, you could connect it if you want. I'm just deciding to leave a little bit of space. Might be a little hard for you guys to see, but you might be able to see it more on this one when I do this one. So I'm gonna grab my orange and make more of this orange. Keep running out. Okay. So you should be able to see on this one. So same thing. Just kind of make the frowny face at the top, the happy face on the bottom. Outline the outside.
And this document has already been given to all of them. No one said it.
I guess whatever is easier for you. No, you don't have to technically do what I'm doing. up here. You could change it up if you like. I'm gonna make a bump. This pumpkin's still a little bit wet. I think I used more paint on this one. Then I gotta make the other one a really, really dark orange. So I'm gonna do more red than yellow to make a really dark orange color. Very, very dark. Brownie face. Happy face. But sometimes if you want, you can kind of grab more white to make the color lighter and kind of add some highlights to your pumpkin. It's up to you. Maybe I'll add some highlights on the other one. Maybe more white. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. Nope. Highlights. Where? I think that's good. So I'm gonna clean my brush. Get all that orange on. The next color I'll be using is brown. So I'll be using the brown next. So I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna take just brown paint. And we're gonna do our fence. We're gonna let our pumpkins dry before we put the stems on the pumpkins. So don't put the stem. If you did already, that's okay. But I'm kind of waiting until my pumpkins dry a little bit more to put the stems on there, as well as some of the grass that's going to be going on top of the pumpkins. And with the fence, I kind of made my fence like more rounded, but you can do yours more square and clean. It's up to you. There's lots of different fences out there. So I'm gonna do, let's see, how many did I do? 4. So I'm gonna do 1. And this is just brown. And I will be putting white in it afterwards.
That is not true. I have a legal partnership.
I'll make another one, be a little bit higher. Kind of look like Hershey bars. It's a little too early for me though for chocolate.
What?
I haven't really, never really had chocolate. I mean, I guess when I had chocolate pancakes, but like having like an actual like chocolate bar.
When I was a kid, we used to have hot chocolate for breakfast.
That's good. Yeah, I could do hot chocolate for breakfast.
I'm gonna go upstairs and check on 6.
Sounds good. And one more. And then I'll fill it in with the brown afterwards. Just wanted to make sure I got them all drawn out before I go inside of them. Fill it in. Now they're gonna look at the Hershey bars. Now that I'm filling it in, be very careful with your pumpkins. Take your time. Still got plenty of it. I usually outline the top part and then fill it in. That way I don't accidentally bring the fence into the pumpkin.
don't let anybody cancel the surgery. I'm trying to see if I can make-
kind of outline it. Forgot to fill in that area. There you go. Boom. This is fine. That's okay. I'll fill in this part.
Oh, we're not really like, you should post that, and you should.
Okay. We should have 4 Hershey bars. That's what it kind of looks like. And then I'm gonna have 2 really long king size Hershey bars. I might as well stick with the Hershey bar thing. Just do king size ones. So I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do one that kind of comes over here. Yeah, wait, that way makes a nice clean edge. But all fences are made differently too. So I'm gonna let my brush a little bit. That way I get a nice outline. Just gonna fill in this area. Then I'm gonna make another one. And these are gonna be like thinner than the first ones that we did. I'm just gonna go across like this. It's gonna go across and leave a little bit of that sky showing. Like I said, these are gonna be a lot thinner. I kind of made that a little too thick on accident, but it's okay. Totally okay. Make another one. I had just the perfect amount of space for that last thing. Whew, that was a close one. Cat. In a way of having it where you can see like the separation of the boards, I usually put a highlight while the brown is still wet with white. So I'm not going to clean off my brush. If you want to mix on your mixing tray somewhere, if you still have room, white and brown together first and then put the highlights, you can. Or you can double dip. Put the brown in whites. Just grab more white than brown, obviously. You know what? I still have room on my mixing tray. And if there's like the grass color should be dry too. If you mix that on your tray, that should be dry enough for you to mix the light brown. But I'm gonna try to choose a cleaner area to do this mixture. So a little bit of brown, lots of white. Alright, now when I got this light brown color, like I said, I'm only staying on one side. So on this big one right here, I'm gonna go just on this side. On this other one, just gonna go on the side. So on the right side, I think. Yes, right side. We'll just pretend that the sun is over here. And all the light is hitting that part of the fence. Same thing on the other one. And the same thing on the last one. Kind of look like candy canes. Guys. I'll pause right there for you guys. Okay. Cool. And then I'm still using this color on these 2 little ones right here. I'm gonna only put it the highlight on the tops. On the tops. Don't do it all the way around. Just on the top part. Same thing on the other ones because we want the big ones to be in front of these two smaller ones that we just did. So I'm only doing the highlights on the tops. If that makes sense. Same thing on the ones over here, just the tops. That's the fence. With the pumpkins, on the example piece, I put the stems um on top of the pumpkins, and I realized that the stem color was the same as the fence color. So I would probably recommend doing your stems more inside the pumpkins, and I'll show you up here. So I'm not going to clean off my brush. I'm just going to grab some brown, and instead of putting it on the top, I mean, you could if you want. I'm going to kind of lower it into the pumpkin like this. Same thing on this one, and I kind of bring it inside because we're going to be putting vines on there. So that's also why I decided to put it in the inside. I guess on this one, I could have put it on the top because there's no fence over here, but I'm just going to put it right here. So I got my 3 stems. And I'm not going to worry about putting highlights on these because they're too small. That's why I'm just leaving them brown. I did put highlights on the stems for the other pumpkins in the example, but I used a very small brush. You guys don't have a very small brush. You just got one brush. But whenever you do finish your stems, you will clean off your brush. We're gonna do our grass. We're gonna let this area dry a little bit more because we just did it. So I'm gonna clean my brush. Squeeze all that water out. Perfect. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna make that green again. And if you remember, it was yellow and blue, but a little bit of twist this time. I'm gonna be using more blue than yellow to get a dark green. So let's use some yellow. I'm just gonna put on top of that same. If you have like a mixture on your tray where that light green was, just put it on top of that one because I'm gonna be making a darker shade. So if you have this area still where you've made the grass color, put this mixture on top of it. So yellow and more blue. That way I get a nice dark green color. Dark green. Still had some brown on the brush. Well, that's okay. Gotcha. So I'm going to take this dark green color, and it could be any dark green color. I'm going to outline the bottoms of the pumpkins. And I'm wetting my brush just a little bit too. I'm going to do the same thing on the middle pumpkin. Oh, one more. Perfect. Little sound effects do help. And on the last one. And one. Perfect. So there is my shadow. Sometimes I usually do a little bit more and I'll add like another kind of little shadow on the edge here. Same thing, kind of make a little straight line. That's if you want to be fancy. As long as you have that dark green shadow underneath. And then you're able to do your grass. So with the grass, I kind of with the brush, I'll grab that dark green color, and I'll just make these different size kind of lines, starting at the shadow area and flicking the brush upwards towards the pumpkin. So I'm doing light pressure. I'm starting in the shadow area, that dark green area, and I'm just pushing the brush upwards just to make these different size lines. And wetting the brush helps a little bit with this method too. So I would wet the brush as well.
My question is surgery hospital. But it's not.
Oh, that one went a little too thick. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't on the example, I didn't put grass in the empty area, so if you want to, you can. I just put grass really on the top part. I might, you know what, I might just put grass in this area as well. So I'm putting grass right now, going up towards the fence as well. Maybe I'll put a couple of patches of grass. That way it's not such an empty amount of space over here. Okay, so with this, I would recommend wetting the brush a little bit. That way it's easier and the brush moves a little bit better for you. Gives it more texture too. That's nice.
Allow us a little bit of. If they want to start. I think.
Cool. Got my grass. And I ran out of green, so I'm gonna have to make another shade of green. I'm gonna grab yellow, a little bit of blue. And this part could be optional, I guess. If you want to put the vines on your pumpkins, you could, or just leave it alone and just call it a day. But I'm gonna go ahead and put vines on mine. And to do the vines, let me turn this around so I can draw it on the back and show you. Maybe a little wet still. That's okay. All right, let me see if I got a pencil. Okay. So with the vines, I typically do like these kind of like big kind of S's. And like to do like the curlies, I kind of just make these kind of like it's kind of like curly, kind of like overlapping each other kind of curls. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can have some where it's just like this kind of S shape. And then you can have some where they kind of like a roller coaster almost. So that's typically how I do vines on pumpkins. But you can do it however you like. It doesn't have to look exactly like the one I did for the example. But guess the stems are a little wet still. Let me fix those. That's okay. There you go. I'll fix it. So I'm gonna take my green. I'm gonna wet my brush a little bit. Now I'm gonna try to focus just using the tip of the brush to add these vines. Just using the tip of the brush. I might not do the curlies. I might just make them just one kind of curl. But you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just optional. I could try to give you guys little things that you can add. Just like change it up. Like I said, you do not have to do this part. if You don't want to. It is a little tricky.
How's it going, buddy?
Going good. Give it the last couple of steps. It is a little hard with this brush. Probably should have done the smaller ones.
Great.
These are very abstract, so doesn't have to be perfect.
Benefit others. Because green. After the
Alright.
inside.
It's in that to tell you the next thing.
Adult code green. Which is Starbucks. Inside the manager's office. Adult code green. After Starbucks.
Oh, you all done?
No, not just waiting for that to
Oh, yeah.
silence. Okay, perfect. All right. And then the last step, which I think is the most important step, is signing your painting. And you could do that with your brush. You can choose any color you like. I usually put my first two initials either in this corner or this corner. But on this one, I'm going to do something different because I gave myself a border. I'm going to take my pencil. And if you have a pen in the room or a pencil, that works as well. I usually just sign it and I put the year on there. It's up to you. But after that, you're all finished. So I want to thank you guys for coming and joining us this morning, joining us in the day of a pumpkin patch. I hope you have a lot of fun, and artists will be stopping by to send your guys' rooms to see what you guys have done. Thank you.
She said, I.
Great job, Julian. You're still on TV up there.
I'm still on TV.
What do you want to say to the kids in the hospital?
Oh, well, thank you for coming. I hope you guys had a great time today at the pumpkin patch, and I am super excited to see what you guys have done. Oh, I put it on mute. Oops, when I said that whole thing. Thank you guys. Can't wait to see what you've done.
And I'm Dr. Rendell's the one that.